Mukesh Ambani first gave away free data and eliminated competition from the telecom market. This caused such a bloodbath in the telecom sector that, in the end, only a few players survived. His strategy was simple. By distributing free data, he got people hooked on using it, reduced competition in the market, and once only 3 major private telecom players remained, he switched from free to paid data and slowly began increasing prices. Then came his son's wedding, and of course, weddings are expensive. So he raised data prices even more, and ironically, people were watching Anant Ambani's wedding on their phones, paying for data and ultimately paying Mukesh Ambani himself. Now, with these price hikes, people have started venting about Mukesh Ambani on social media, and this has opened up an opportunity for BSNL to make a comeback. But can BSNL really return to the market? What is the role of Tata in this? And was BSNL, once a profitable government entity, deliberately pushed into losses? Today, we will answer these questions in this video. Let's start by briefly understanding what BSNL is. BSNL stands for Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, established by the Government of India on October 1st, 2000. However, BSNL's foundation actually dates back 160 years. In 1885, the British Imperial Legislative Council passed the Indian Telegraph Act, separating the postal and telegraph departments. This led to the creation of the Department of Telecom, which eventually laid the foundation for BSNL. For nearly 160 years, BSNL operated public telegraph services. In the early 1990s and 2000s, when mobile and telecom services started to emerge, there were very few private players in the market. These private companies primarily operated in cities because building telecom infrastructure in rural, hilly, and remote areas was challenging and expensive. For private companies, setting up operations in cities was easier because urban customers were willing to pay more, and building infrastructure was less costly in cities. Ultimately, private companies are driven by profit. This is where the Government of India stepped in. On October 1st, 2000, they established BSNL with a simple purpose: to connect people across India through telecom networks, whether in hills, villages, or remote areas. BSNL was there to connect people in every part of the country. BSNL succeeded in reaching every village, remote area, and hilly region. And between 2004 and 2005, BSNL made over 10,000 crore rupees in profit in a single year. When BSNL's growth was skyrocketing and it was generating significant profits for the government, that's when greed crept in, leading to BSNL's downfall. This downfall due to greed began around 2007 during the tenure of Telecom Minister Dayanidhi Maran. One incident led the CBI to investigate Maran, and after 7 hours of questioning, they revealed that he, along with some BSNL employees, had conducted a scam. Maran had illegally installed BSNL's expensive high-capacity telephone lines at his residence, turning his home into a virtual telephone exchange. This was done to benefit the business of Maran and his brother's company, Sun TV Networks. Initially, it was reported that Maran had installed 320 high-speed BSNL lines in his house. But upon further CBI investigation, it was found that he had installed 770 BSNL lines across his 3 residences. Dayanidhi Maran had to resign. Following his resignation, another prominent party member, Raja, became the telecom minister. Raja proved to be even more visionary than Dayanidhi Maran. While CBI reported that Maran's actions had cost BSNL a loss of 1.8 crore rupees, Raja played in the hundreds of thousands of crores. He conducted a telecom scam so massive that it was labeled the biggest scam in India at that time, the 1.76 lakh crore 2G scam. At the time, it was considered a scam, but today it's officially not classified as one because the courts cleared Raja of all charges. However, whether the 2G scam happened or not is for you to decide. Let us know in the comments. After the 2G scam, BSNL's tenders began getting rejected. Tenders were being awarded to companies with no name, no address, and no office, essentially shell companies. Corruption was deeply embedded in BSNL, from the smallest orders to the biggest tenders. When news of this corruption broke, government agencies were pressured to keep a close watch on BSNL. They scrutinized even the smallest orders and tenders, which led to the cancellation of many genuine orders and tenders, putting BSNL in a helpless situation. BSNL's further decline in the competitive telecom market can be attributed to several critical factors. Firstly, the quality of services provided by BSNL fell short of expectations, with customers often experiencing delayed responses to complaints. While private companies quickly addressed customer issues, BSNL's support system took days, leading to frustration among users. Additionally, the installation process for BSNL's internet services was cumbersome and lengthy, requiring customers to visit an office, fill out an application, and wait for subsequent processes. This inefficiency, characteristic of many government operations, stood in stark contrast to the swift and hassle-free installations offered by private competitors, further driving customers away from BSNL. Private players took advantage of this helplessness, rapidly expanding their services. Where they once operated only in cities, BSNL had already established its presence in villages, hilly regions, and remote areas. But private companies started extending their services to these smaller towns as well. Lastly, BSNL could not upgrade its technology, while private players expanded and emerged as market leaders. The private companies became leaders in the market not only due to their extensive reach, but also because of better service quality. And when BSNL couldn't upgrade its speed, it was left behind. Meanwhile, Reliance Communications, originally started from scratch and built with hard work and vision, had become a cash cow. But as Reliance Communications became profitable, a split occurred in the Ambani family, and the company was handed over to Anil Ambani. Unlike his elder brother, Anil Ambani had neither the vision nor the experience to build the telecom company from the ground up. For him, it was merely a cash cow printing money. Anil Ambani signed an agreement with Mukesh Ambani, preventing Mukesh from entering the telecom industry for the next 10 to 12 years. While Anil focused on leveraging the existing potential of the telecom industry, Mukesh Ambani began identifying the future possibilities and planning his grand comeback. When Mukesh Ambani's non-compete agreement ended, he decided he would not just compete, but would revolutionize the industry, even if it meant pushing competitors out. In 2016, he introduced Jio with free data, systematically eliminating competition. You probably don't even remember how many telecom companies came and went and were ultimately wiped out during Jio's rise. Jio didn't just create competition, it wiped out a large portion of it, creating a near monopoly situation in Indian telecom. By the time the free offer ended and Jio switched to a paid model, the landscape had already changed. Only a few major players were left standing, namely Jio, Airtel, and Vodafone Idea. Today, only two companies remain strong in the telecom sector, and these two companies decide how the sector will run, how prices will be set, and when prices will rise, and by how much. Essentially, only these two players hold the power, as Vodafone Idea is not a significant contender. Whatever Jio decides, Airtel often follows. Some speculate that price hikes even helped Ambani cover the expenses of high-profile family events, like his son's wedding. Ironically, the same consumers paying for Jio's data were also paying for the data they used to stream those grand celebrations online. So if prices go up, where will customers go? Customers might complain, criticize, or even curse, but ultimately they will return to the same companies. In 2016, 2017, and 2018, when data was free, people celebrated Jio's arrival. But now customers are realizing the dangers of monopolies and lack of choice. They are beginning to understand how monopolies and duopolies can hurt consumers in the long run. Frustrated with the price hikes and lack of alternatives, customers are now looking towards BSNL's comeback as a glimmer of hope. BSNL plays an essential role as a balancing force in the market. Its survival prevents Jio and Airtel from having unchecked power over pricing. If BSNL strengthens, it can serve as an affordable alternative, pushing private companies to keep prices reasonable. This competition will help consumers across India, ensuring that the telecom sector remains affordable and accessible. So why does BSNL have potential for a comeback? BSNL's market share, now at 7.8%, 8% with MTNL, has been growing each month, especially as Jio, Airtel, and Vodafone Idea lose millions of customers. BSNL's lowest tariffs make it an attractive option, with an ARPU of 90 rupees compared to Airtel's 211 rupees, Jio's 195 rupees, and Vodafone Idea's 146 rupees. With consistent growth and affordable tariffs, BSNL has already begun reclaiming its place, with millions of customers returning in recent months. In conclusion, the telecom industry in India has transformed immensely in the last decade. From a vibrant competitive market to one dominated by two major players, the landscape has changed drastically. However, with BSNL's recent resurgence and growth in subscriber numbers, gaining around 3 million new customers in July 2024 and an additional 2.5 million in August, there is hope for a more balanced market. Moreover, as customers become increasingly frustrated with rising prices from the major private players, BSNL's low-cost offerings could serve as a beacon of hope for those seeking affordable telecom services. If the government's revival package of approximately 89,000 crore rupees successfully boosts BSNL's infrastructure and technology, it could provide the necessary momentum for the company to compete effectively against Jio and Airtel. Ultimately, the survival and growth of BSNL are crucial not just for the company itself, but for the Indian telecom landscape as a whole. It can act as a balancing force that prevents monopolistic tendencies and keeps the telecom sector competitive, ensuring that consumers have access to reliable and affordable services. Will BSNL be able to reclaim its position and compete against giants like Jio and Airtel? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, a strong BSNL is essential for every Indian who values affordable and reliable telecom services. Thank you for watching, and we hope you found this analysis insightful. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see you in our next case study.